He's got a new musical on Broadway called Maybe Happy Ending. Tell us about it.
It's very hard. I would like to preface this by saying I think the greatest stories we've ever experienced in life are the ones we were not prepared to hear. And that's why we remember them, because we were completely unencumbered by expectation or comparison, right? So we go in and then you suddenly remember that weird story that guy told you on the plane, because you never considered it to be a thing before. I say this because it is about two helper bots, as we call them, two helper bots in the future that kind of meet in unlikely circumstances and kind of go on this adventure to get in touch with some previous owners. Now, that's what the plot is.
Okay.
What it's about is extraordinarily human, arguably one of the most human stories I've ever been a part of. It's about a very important question that I think some of the best pieces of art asks, which is why love? Why do we fall in love? Is it worth it? Why do we do the things we do with the battery of life that we have? It's about shelf life. It's about all of our fear of obsolescence. There's a lot of really heavy things to be unpacked. However, it's all packaged in this very cute, under 2-hour musical comedy with beautiful music and one hell of a spectacle. So it's kind of hard to explain, but it'd be just as hard to explain Star Wars, Back to the Future, Batman. It's like you just kind of have to check it out. We are a show, don't tell. You have to experience it.
I would like to point out that Darren Criss is the first person to use the word obsolescence on this show.
Thank you.
I think that should be noted.
They told me that before the show.
Timestamped.
Yeah, we're going to get a special award for that. Now, I know, speaking of, again, it's a very University of Michigan day here, but your co-star, Helen J. Shen, is also a Wolverine?
In her staggering Broadway debut. We have many Broadway debuts in the show, but as we are sharing a marquee, it's something of note that I like to say. 10 years ago, I was at the Belasco Theater doing one of my favorite shows, Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Amazing.
And what's so neat is that, thank you. And I really love that my return a decade later is now I'm splitting that marquee. Now I'm the upperclassman. She's the underclassman. And so the poetry of that is really not lost on me. As I like to say, it rhymes. And I really love that we have the young Turks coming in and really making their own stamp. And she's an extraordinary performer. And if you guys want to be in on You Were There When kind of
exactly.
you want to see her in her, again, this staggering Broadway debut in this completely remarkable show. And right now, because there's no cast album out yet, because it's not something that everybody knows, people who come to the show really feel like they've uncovered some kind of secret gem, and people are their hearts and minds are dilated to a new experience, which I've never experienced before. Because if I'm, all hail Queen Audra McDonald, but like if you go see Audra, you go in going like, well, how is she going to sing this one? And she has the arduous task of having to now command over people's expectations. This is so new and so original. There are almost no original new Broadway musicals on this season that to get to experience that as a performer and certainly as an audience member, I'm telling you, it is such a rare moment in the Broadway world, or art in general. We consume too much content. There's too much out there. So when you get to actually go into a new room that you've never been to, that you've never seen or felt before, that's what, I mean, listen, I'm madly in love with the show. You guys can go. I'll just talk.
We're going to
talk about the show.
Go see Maybe Happy Ending at the Belasco Theater on Broadway.